Hey guys, welcome to the Another Eden tier list video. In this video I'm going to cover over all the units that's been released from 1.0 all the way to the latest Japanese edition, which is 2.2.18. So there's going to be some disclaimers that I want to throw out there. By 2.0, a lot of the characters get something called manifest weapons. It's essentially their unique weapon that you gain experience from killing things around the world, and you basically fight two different variations of the reflection of the unit, and once you're able to level up to level 10, you'll be able to gain augmented skills for that specific unit. Next, they also introduced the Grasta system, which I don't know what they're going to call in the English version, but it basically provides bonus stats and further specialization for your units, such as increasing in wind damage for wind characters or tanky health benefits, etc. Then we have the increased Another Style implementation from Right Flyer Studios. They've essentially targeted a lot of the older 4 and 5 star units and gave them another styles. For the most part, they've been successfully power creeping a lot of the units to get to the same level as the 2.0 units. And finally, they've also introduced zones, which are essentially a element type field where, say, if you throw down a water zone, you gain 150% boost in the water damage, but you also gain a 50% reduction in the opposite element. In this case would be fire. And of course, like any tier list, these are all very subjective and it's just my opinions, but at the end of the day, if you have your favorite waifu or husbando unit, then obviously you can use them over any tier list. Alright, without further ado, let's go over the physical attackers. We have Nagi Another Style, Suzette, Kikyu, Hisumina, and Suzette Another Style. In the meantime, I do want to note that all the names in asterisk are the unofficial names that are translated from the Japanese website, so in the global release, the names might be changed. Nagi-S just hits like a truck, no doubt about it. When she comes out, I would highly suggest, if you want one of the strongest physical attackers, to go ahead and get her. Suzette becomes very godlike once she gets her manifest weapon upgrade in 2.0. Kikyu is a 2.2 unit that comes out. She has a very strong attack pattern where she scales with her speed stat, and she has the ability to create these sort of mirages that can take hits for her, so she can be somewhat tanky too, depending if you play it out right. Hisumina is going to be one of the hardest hitting water units in this game. She has a very unique skill called Rosa Azul, where she's locked into a 3-turn rotation, and she can also attack everyone if you Valor Chant her, along with decreasing the enemy's physical resistance. And Suzette Another Style is still very potent even in 2.2, although she is a little bit overshadowed by her original form, but who knows what they plan to do with Another Styles in the future. Next, we have Garyu Another Style, Mighty Another Style, Tuva Another Style, OG, Mighty, and Tuva for the magic attackers. Garyu Another Style basically gains the Fire Zone, which he's the only provider at the time of this video, and he is a ramp-up character that also does a lot of damage for fire as well. Mighty Another Style is still very good. He has his sleep buff that allows him to gain a 50% intellect buff, and the 3 to 5 times XL attack is pretty broken still. Tuva Another Style in the Japanese client is very good because her skeletons also push another force up to 50%. So the Tuva Another Style we have in global currently is her nerfed version. So in the future, when they do decide to update it to the Japanese version, then we can go for that. And Mighty and Tuva Original all got their manifest weapons, so they'll be able to push out more damage. For Mighty, he gains a self-intellect buff when he uses the Dream skill that is the single target XL with sleep, and Tuva basically gains more damage if she has over 50% more health. Some of the healers to note is that Mario, as much as she is the queen of healers, if you have her right now, you're set even in 2.2, but in the future she is going to be competing with Dunaris, Rosetta, Myris even, since Myris recently got her manifest weapon, and Melina another style. Dunaris is basically everything that Mario could possibly do, but more offensive based. Mario does have the 50% all attribute resistance buff over Dunaris, but that 20% difference versus all the other skills that he has to offer makes him very, very unique. And Rosetta is pretty much a DPS healer compared to Mario, but the Mario Another style is also a very niche pick. I would argue that her original form is probably more versatile than her Another style version, and the only niche thing about the Another style version for Mario is that she gains the resurrection ability, and Myris is now more focused on being able to provide both a little bit more damage while a lot of supportive skills as well. Next, let's just talk over supports. We have Mana, Monwa, Yuna Another style, Dunaris, Yuna, and Claude Another style. What you're going to notice in this part is that you're going to have a lot of characters that provide either insane amount of buff control, or on top of that, along with zones. So with Mana, she's a free unit in IDA Part 3. Highly suggest anyone to get her. She's basically one of the top tier support units in the game. Monwa is a pretty new unit that came into 2.2. She's the only Earth Zone provider for now, and she can pretty much beef up and increase your Earth teams up by a lot. Yuna Another style is the only Water Zone provider as well, and she's pretty much similar to Yuna, except she's more slightly offensive focused while providing a lot of defensive and buffs and debuffs to the enemies for water resistance. Dunaris is also a great supporter as well, and original Yuna can still buff or debuff and mitigate, a lot of the damage, whether it's physical or magical, and her Mega Poison is super useful as well. Finally, we also have Claude Another style, who is the only Wind Zone provider in the game right now. He's slightly more offensive based with his bow attacks, and he can also self-increase his bow's damage output. And he also provides a status immunity for 1 turn for allies, which can come into pretty handy when it comes to some of these endgame bosses. Some support honorable mentions that I would like to say would be a Melina Another style, Philo, Claude, and Felmina Another style. Next, let's look at fire attackers. So we have Garyu Another style, Akane Another style, Iwan, Seti Another style, and Xion. We don't really have to say much about Garyu Another style. He's pretty much in the tier in his own. Akane Another style is great. She just does a lot of damage to the opponents, single target primarily. Iwan gains one of the biggest buffs through his manifest weapons, so if you did pull him, I'd say definitely don't keep him on the bench for too long, especially once his manifest weapon comes to fruition. And the Seti Another style is a really good lance fire unit attacker. He can buff a lot for himself and also his allies as well. And Xion with the manifest weapon is really good at pretty much single target damage dealing. Even before his manifest weapon, he is pretty good as well, one of the top fire DPS. Even with the manifest weapons, he's competing with a lot of the newer units, and he's still able to stick his place on top as one of the best fire attackers in the game. Next, just some honorable mentions. For fire attackers, we do have Garyu OG, Lovely, which I sometimes call her Ravioli, Tsukiha, Xion Another style, and Hozuki. So, some of the water attackers is Hisumina, as on the list, Shani Another style, Nike Another style, Shani OG, and Mighty Another style. Don't really need to talk about Hisumina much, but Shani Another style is one of my favorite character designs for Another styles, but she provides a really unique critical damage up buff each turn as she's in the front line for all friendly male units, and she hits like a truck and she gains these sort of water blades from one of her 5-star skills that act as a extra attack. So she's just like similar to Tuva Another Style, except that her blades attack a little bit quicker than Tuva Another Style too. So she's definitely a staple in a water team comp, in my opinion. Next, you also have Nike Another Style, who is a great AoE water attacker. She also provides strength and magical debuffs that stacks on all enemies, so she's able to mitigate dishing out pretty good damage at the same time. And then Shani Original gets her manifest weapon, and she just becomes even more of a better water physical attacker unit as well to solidify her position in this list. Some honorable mentions for the water attackers would be Leclerc Another Style, Shigure, Fio, Mighty, and Leclerc. Next, let's go over the wind attackers. The top 3, in my opinion, would be Suzette OG and Another Style version, and Kikyu. But outside of those, we have Isuka, Vyaka, and Felmuna Another Style. Isuka, her Valor Trend is still extremely strong and versatile, even in 2.2's content. And she also gains her manifest weapon Innocence that allows her to increase a lot of her skills that were already pretty decent to even higher levels. Vyaka is also really great too. At the time when she was released, she was actually probably one of the hardest hitting wind attackers besides Suzette Another Style. She just needs, to build up her damage a bit, so it's not as instantaneous as say the Suzette versions or Kikyu, but she's still a very, very good unit. And I've also decided to add Felmuna Another Style to this list because I love her design as well, and while she might not be the highest damage wind dealer in the game, she has a lot going for her. She's a pretty good bruiser tanky unit, definitely better than Annabelle in the game, and she gains access to a guaranteed first AoE stun move that is perfect for shiny hunting. And she just provides a lot of utility as well while dishing out a decent amount of damage while being pretty tanky herself as well, which is why I put her on this list. And some of the wind attackers honorable mentions would be Felmuna OG, Azami, Runa Another Style, and Claude Another Style. Next we have the earth attackers. So no surprise, Nagi Another Style is here, Lokido Another Style, OG Nagi, Tuva, and Swallow. Nagi Another Style, it's a no-brainer. She's going to continue to wreak havoc as an earth unit. Lokido Another Style also makes his way up there compared to his counterpart. His Another Style definitely is a significant buff to the unit, and he pretty much is able to withstand an attack that'll get him less than 1 health. And he also does a lot of damage with his Bravery unique stack mechanic. While for Nagi, she becomes a powerhouse for a bruiser when her manifest weapon is introduced. Meanwhile, Tuva Original is great as an earth unit. Tsubame is not only a great earth unit, but she also provides a lot of neutral base attacks as well. Some earth attacker honorable mentions that I would mention is Premier, Tuva Another Style, Myris, Elga, and Serene. Finally, we have the neutral attackers. We have Tsubame. On the top, Renri, Amy, Cyrus, and Elga. Renri does a decent amount of damage for a neutral unit, so if you did pull her recently in Global, you can use her for a lot of content that doesn't require you to know any sort of resistant type unless they're axe resistant. Amy's also super good, and she's a free unit from the story. Cyrus is also excellent, especially since he does get his own weapon, not a manifest weapon, in a future story update that allows him to do more damage the lower his health is. And Elga is also here because she also provides a pretty decent damage output with some unique skill sets that can let her push some numbers. And just note that her Another Style is data mined to be the next Another Style, so that could possibly put her on the list for earth attackers or perhaps even neutral attackers in the near future as well. And these are some neutral attackers honorable mentions. I have Xion Another Style, Artena, and Helena. So anyways guys, that's going to be it for this tier list video. I try to make this as concise but also as informative as possible. I do want to say that I did hit 1,000 subscribers recently. I just want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to watch and click on my videos. It really does mean a lot to me. I never really thought that my channel could grow this much from doing other Eden videos, but I've been proved otherwise, so thank you guys so much for all those that followed me. And with that said, I am going to leave this here for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video for another Eden. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.